So,
Yeah.
okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eagle Chat Academic Advising. We are excited to have you here today. We have a wonderful guest with us, Lionel DeLuna, who's going to talk to you about all the wonderful things academic advising can help you with. Welcome, Lionel.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Lionel DeLuna. I'm gonna go ahead and begin sharing my screen with you guys. And let's see what we have here. So I am an academic advisor. Throughout this presentation, if y'all do have any questions, please just put in the chat. Let me know what questions you do have. Um, and I can definitely help out as far as answering those questions. Does it look fine on your side? Let me do this.
Which is display settings. Yeah, there you
There you
go.
go. Okay. All right, guys. So I've been doing academic advising for about 15 years. Right now, I currently work with STEM students, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and there's my contact information. And I'm going to cover a few things. Let's see. Sorry about this. Actually, I may not like this. Um, Geez, I'm sorry. So, first of all, I wanted to let you know that registration does open. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. But registration, when students talk about enrolling for classes, they do talk about registering for classes or enrolling. If you want to start classes in the fall, which is from August to December, registration begins in April the 13th this year. So that way you can have your summer classes and your fall classes ready. If you're looking for sign up for spring classes, that actually opens up in mid-October. This is for the current semester that we're in. So you actually have plenty of time to sign up for your classes. We really don't want for students to wait to the last minute. Okay. So I'm just giving you a heads up. There's plenty of time for you to register, and please take advantage of all that free time that you have. You usually have for the spring about 2.5 months, and for the fall, you have many more months to get registered for classes. So we have what's called a virtual lobby. And the virtual lobby, you're able to get a lot of assistance. You don't have to no longer go onto a campus. You can visit the virtual lobby. You can talk to a cashier, an academic advisor like myself. If you have any questions about admissions or enrollment, questions about payments, if you want to talk to a financial aid advisor, if you're a veteran student or international student. So there's actually no reason for you to drive to a campus unless you really want to visit the campus. But the virtual lobby is open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And let me show you where to go to get to the virtual lobby. So if you go to our hccs.edu homepage, if you click on virtual support right here, it's going to bring you to the virtual lobby and you're able to select any option you want for that particular assistance. So again, it's a virtual lobby. You don't have to drive anywhere. You log on. Ideally, if you can log in on your laptop or your personal computer. If you need to visit us on your phone, that's quite all right. But ideally, we can help you resolve your issue a lot faster if you're able to go ahead and use a laptop or PC. But again, you can use your cell phone. So there are a couple things I do want to talk about in reference to um, the catalog. Okay, so here is, if you go to our homepage again, and the catalog is very important, and y'all can see my screen, right? Y'all see the homepage? Yes. Okay. So if you scroll down to the very bottom, and the reason why I want to show the catalog, if you look on this side right here, see if I can maximize that. It's going to say academic catalog, and the reason why I like sharing the catalog is because this is going to tell you all the classes you need. So, for example, I work with a lot of psychology majors. Oh my God, give me a second. I cannot type today. So let me go back actually. So whatever your major is, it's in the catalog. No matter what your major is, it's going to be here. Okay. If you're doing an academic program where it's a workforce program, or it's going to be a program, a major, I'm sorry. If you're doing a major that's a workforce major, or you're trying to do a degree so you can transfer out into a different university, the Associates of Art, the Associate of Science, just FYI, these two options are intended for you to transfer to a university, and we'll talk about that in a second longer. The Associate of Applied Science, that's meant for you to basically do your 2-year degree at HCC. It's a workforce program, and most of these classes are not intended to transfer to a university. The Applied Science and the Associate of Art do transfer easily to a university, and as you see here, there are a lot of transferable degrees that you can take advantage of. But there's also like dental hygiene. That's a 2-year degree at HCC. Dental hygienists, they usually get paid about 85,000. So don't think because you have a 2-year degree, it's not going to bring you income. There's some degrees that are 4-year degrees that are transferable to a 2-year degree that where you would transfer to a university. You get a bachelor's degree, and sometimes you can get an associate's of applied science in a particular field. And like I said, you can probably earn more money than a person that has a 4-year degree. Just keep that in mind. Just as an FYI. So let's actually look at let's look at the psychology. So if you click on whatever your major is, okay, you would click on that through the catalog. It's going to give you some idea as far as the employment, income, and job postings through the actual link that you're going to click on. It's going to also give you the list of classes that you need for your major, okay? So for example, this psychology degree, and also it says for transferring to a university to get a bachelor's degree. It's going to tell you, please take, EDC 1300, English 1301. It will tell you in your first year, your first semester, if you can take these classes, okay? It gives you like an idea of how to take your classes. Now you can move around. You don't have to go in this order. So for example, if you decide to take English 1302, it's going to tell you you must complete the prerequisite. A prerequisite is a class that you must complete before you're able to sign up for a particular class. Okay, so it's going to tell you before you can take English 1302, you must complete English 1301. Okay, but you might come to a class that's not like this is in the second year that doesn't have any prerequisites. So you can hop around from one area to the other. Okay, so the setup is this. If you can, the ultimate goal is for you to be successful in all your classes. I say that because 12 hours, 12 credits is full-time, and we'll talk about that in a second. But what's recommended in your first semester, if you take all these classes here and you finish 16 hours in your first semester, then the first year, and then you go into your second semester, and you complete these many hours, ideally you would leave HCC in 2 years. After your second year, you would leave us, okay? Now, when you come to a section of your degree where it says social behavior science or creative arts, and it doesn't actually tell you the name of the class, what you're gonna do is go down here, you're gonna click on core curriculum, and let's look at creative arts. So you're gonna click on core curriculum, you're gonna scroll down until you get to the creative arts, and then you're allowed to pick anything from this section here, anything from this section. Same thing with the other options that are there, like social behavior science. You're going to scroll down to the curriculum core hyperlink, and then you're going to go to the social behavior science, and then you can pick anything from this section here. All right, so that's how it's going to work in reference to what classes you need to make sure you fill. Once you complete all these classes, ideally, we want you to complete all the classes because attending a community college costs a lot less. And of course, you want to save money while you're completing your education. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the academic calendar next. So here we go. Again, if you go to our homepage, the academic calendar is very, very important. So the academic calendar tells you a lot of information as far as due dates, important dates, but it's going to be on our homepage towards the bottom, if you click on academic calendar, it'll give you a lot of good information. Hold on. For example, it'll tell you for January 28th is the last day to withdraw. So for example, this is a 4-week class. If you began the semester in a 4-week class, if you don't withdraw before the 28th, whatever grade you get is going to be on your transcript. And let's look at another important date. So classes that begin on the second start, which is the 9th of February, the payment deadline is February 2nd. So if you don't make a payment before the payment deadline for that particular start date, you will be dropped for non-payment. Okay. Let's look at another one. And for example, the second 4-week, because there's many sessions that are offered. A semester may have a full 16 weeks from the 12th of January till the 10th of May. However, we have so many different options. We have second start, first 8 weeks, second 8 weeks. We have so many different options. But this academic calendar will give you a lot of good information as far as deadlines, when things will begin. So please look at the syllabus of your classes and also look at the academic calendar for important information. This will tell you right here, the full 16-week classes for the fall is going to open up on April the 13th. So that's an important date for you to know. So on April 13th, if you want a beautiful schedule, you're going to reach out to your academic advisor, or you're going to go ahead and reach out to the virtual lobby, or just look at the catalog and look to see what classes you need next in order for you to start registering, enrolling for classes. So let's see. We talked about that. Now, how do I get into my portal, my student account? You're gonna go ahead and through our homepage, and most of us have already done this because you're already in your classes. You're gonna go to My Student Sign In, and once you get into My Student Sign In, you have many different options that you need to get used to going to, because everybody needs to check their email. A lot of classes are gonna are gonna be done through Canvas, and then you also have your student sign in, so you can get into your student record and do many things in your student record. You can order transcripts, you can register for classes, you can drop classes, you can find out who your advisor is, and a lot of things you can do through your student record, your sign in. Okay, and let's go ahead and so once you log in into your student record, then you're going to go ahead and have access to so much information. A lot of students, what they do, they use the financial aid. And the reason why I'm covering financial aid, guys, is because how can you begin your educational career if you don't have money to pay for it, okay? I know this topic is mainly about advising, but I'm trying to cover the big, broad picture, because ultimately, I just show you the catalog and we kind of know what classes to take. Okay, and about how many you need to take per semester, so you can leave us within a certain time frame and then transfer to your university. But this also right here, the academic progress, this will also tell you what classes to take. This will manage classes. This will also tell you how to search for classes for the particular semester that you're looking for. And your checklist, if you have items on your checklist and they're mandatory, you do have to complete them before you're able to register for your classes. Okay, and you can always look at your unofficial transcripts through your academic record, and then you can find out how much money you owe and make a payment, or have financial aid ready and packaged for you to so it can pay your classes. Once you log into your account, your I think it's going to be, oh my God, I kind of forgot. Give me a second. Why can't I think about it? Oh, here it is. Your student center. I apologize. So under your student center, once you log in, it's going to have a lot of information here. This is just a generic one, but the most important thing is going to be your academic advisor, and your program advisor will be here. And right now there's none here because this is just a blank account. It'll say like Lionel DeLuna. Then you can click on the name, and it's going to give you my phone number and also my email address, and you can reach out to whoever your academic advisor is. Okay. Sometimes when you're new, you may not have an academic advisor, but if you reach out to the virtual lobby, any academic advisor can assist you with any questions you do have in reference to academic advising. So as I mentioned before, the Associate of Art and the Associate of Science it's a degree, and it's transferable to easily to universities in the state of Texas easily. They also are transferable across the U.S., but like I'm saying, easily we have agreements within Texas, and it's just easy to transfer all the academic classes to your university. And then we also have the Associate of Applied Science. This is more like a workforce program, a career-focused degree. And most of these are not meant for you to transfer to a university. Usually when you do complete an Associate of Science degree and you decide to transfer to a university, usually about between 3 to 18 classes, about 5 classes will transfer towards a bachelor's degree at a university. But again, like I mentioned, if you plan on getting a 4-year degree, you want to do as many classes as you can with us and then transfer to your university so you can save that money. And at ACC, we offer these 2 pathways and 2 options under the bachelor's degree. So we offer a lot of workforce certificates. You know, a lot of them can be done within 9 to 10 months, sometimes a year and a half. Some of them are a lot of them you do have the option to do the 2-year degree, the transferable pathway, and then we do have the bachelor's degree, 2 options only, as the health management and the artificial intelligence degree. Okay, bachelor's of artificial intelligence. So we do have 2 degrees. Okay, but then the universities have a lot more. So usually students do their Associate of Science or Associate of Art degree, transfer to university. They complete the first 2 years with us, the next 2 years, and they do end up with a 4-year degree. Okay. And then if they want to go to grad school, that's where they do their master's, doctoral, or professional degree at that institution or a different institution, a university. So some students, the calendar is not like it's called an academic calendar. It's not a regular calendar from January to December, and then in December 31st, you celebrate the new year. An academic calendar, it runs between 2 years. Like, for example, the academic year that we're in right now is the 25-26. So fall runs from August through December. Spring runs from January till May, and summer is classes in June, and summer 2 are classes that are begin in July and end in early August. And I say this because you have the opportunity to register for multiple semesters and hopefully finish your educational goal a little bit faster. So here's an example of someone that's studying business AA at ACC. And I want to show you, I'm not sure if you're able to see, but it will say here, take English 1301. And this is U of H. And this is U of H accounting. Okay. So as an academic advisor, we have experience as far as telling you what you should have as a major at our institution at HCC, because business has an umbrella. It has marketing, it has logistics, it has finance, it has accounting, it has so many different options. But when you talk to your academic advisor, they're going to tell you how you should be placed and what your major should be. So again, here's English 1301. And at U of H, they're going to ask you to take English 1301 here. So you don't have to take it at U of H, assuming that you passed it with us. It's going to tell you to take Math 1324. Here's going to tell you to take Math 1324 at U of H, but since you took it with us, you don't have to worry about taking it when you transfer to U of H Maine. And the list goes down the line. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? No? Okay. So here's an example of when students sign up for classes. And the reason why I talk about why this is important is because, like I mentioned earlier, students use financial aid and they hear numbers about how much they've been awarded, and you're awarded money depending on how many hours you signed up for. Okay. So like in high school, there's a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, right? Freshman level, sophomore level, junior level, senior level, right? at the community college, we offer 1,000 and 2,000 levels. Okay, then you can do your 3,000 levels at your university. I'm not sure you can set 3,000 levels and your 4,000 levels. Okay, so again, the first 2 years you're going to do them at ACC, and then the 3,000, 4,000 levels you're going to do them at your university. So the reason why this is important is because students are going to get awarded financial aid depending on how many hours they sign up for. Okay, and students sometimes want to be a full-time student so they can be awarded full financial aid. Okay, and I don't want to go too much into financial aid because I am an academic advisor, but it makes a difference because if you select classes that are not part of your major, then financial aid will not recognize them and they will not award you money if you take classes that are outside your major. So, for example, Billy here is taking EDUC 1300. That's a freshman level class, and this is a sophomore level class. And they're also taking English 1301, Contemporary Math 1332, Kinesiology, and Chem Lab. Okay, so if you count the second digit here, you come out with a total of 11. And during this academic year, 12 hours or more is full time. So this student is going to get not the full financial aid, but a prorated amount. Now let's look at Sally. She's taking less classes, but each class is worth 3 hours, 3 credits. Okay, so Sally's taking 12 hours and Billy's taking 11 hours. So Sally's going to get awarded full financial aid, and Billy's going to be awarded a prorated amount. Okay, so here we have Billy and Sally, and I want you to calculate how many hours each has, if you don't mind. Okay, so we have 3, 3, 3, 3. That's 12 hours, and then we have Billy at 3, 3, 3. That's 9, 10 hours. Okay, so Billy would get a lesser amount of financial aid because he's not a full-time student. So as of this year, the 25-26 year, from August through July, you're given financial aid according to your enrollment status. Okay, so if you're taking 12 hours or more, you'll be awarded the full amount of your financial aid. Once you're below 12 hours, you're given a prorated amount. Okay, so you're half-time if you're like 8 hours and 6 hours. You're not a full-time student. You're like a part-time, half-time student. And I do want to talk about the grading system. Okay, so when you whenever you take a class, you turn in your assignments, you basically get A's. You're looking at your GPA to be at a 4.0, and 4.0 is like the highest GPA you can have. And here are the rest of the point systems that go along with the other grades that you will receive at the end of your course. And here we have students depending on your GPA, what your standing is. Okay, if you're 2.0 or higher, you have a good standing. If you're below 2.0, you'll be put on an academic probation. If you are 2.0 and below, and you let's see, if you're 2.0 for all your past classes, and then you're trying to work over 2.0 and you're progressing in a positive way, I'm sorry, you can get out of the lower status if you do have below a 2.0, but you're making progression, then you're working your way back up to good standing. But if you are a below 2.0, you take classes again, and your GPA continues to go down, you'll be put on a continuous academic probation, and you continue to also not be improving, you'll be placed on academic probation. Okay. And you'll be suspended from the semester immediately after that. And this is, just, I don't want to give you bad or negative information, but all this information is important. Monitoring your GPA is very important so you can be successful. So we do have the transfer center, okay? And there's a link towards the transfer center. Let me see if I can get that to y'all. So you would go to support services, transfers, and then you would go to the transfer center, and you can meet with any member transfer person at any, hold on, sorry, let me minimize this a little bit. So you're able to contact any transfer advisor and make an appointment with them and talk about your transferring goals. So, oh yeah, this is what I want to show you. So in the state of Texas, well, like I said, it is easy for you to transfer easily to most universities in the state of Texas, like easy. However, we have what's called articulation agreements and ACC, and these following institutions said, we're going to make sure your students transfer to us easy and they have less work, and we'll make it an easy transition for your students. Okay, so we have
No, thank
transfer
you.
we have transfer agreements with these institutions here
Nobody?
on this list. All right, so does anybody have any questions or concerns? Anybody at all?
Not necessarily. Thank you for going over the articulation agreements because I didn't know about that one.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm gonna also give you a little bit of my wisdom, okay, guys? No matter what happens in life, I always like to end it with this little slide. No matter what happens in life, please don't ever give up. We all have goals. Life happens as we're trying to reach our goals, and just do your best to find solutions to issues that come up as you're trying to reach your goal. All right. So again, my name is Lionel DeLuna. I am an academic advisor. I've been doing advising for 15 years, and I'm always willing to help out students. There is my contact information. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me.
And there's a question in the chat.
All right, let's see what question we have. And before I even answer that question, I'm gonna let y'all know, whatever question I'm about to answer, as an experienced academic advisor, I promise you when I tell you this, I've heard that question, I haven't looked at it yet. I've heard that question at least 5 times minimum in my life, okay? And then when one student has a question, I promise you when I tell you this, other students have a question, but they're just too nervous to ask that particular question, but someone else might have the exact same question. But thank you for asking that question. It says, I have already an AA degree. Is it possible to start a BA program at HCC? It is possible for you to start a program at HCC. Let me see if I can find it. The only thing is that we have, like I said, 2 programs. The Allied Health Program, Health Information Management, that requires you to have an associate's degree, a tier degree in a allied health field in order to get into the bachelor's degree at HCC. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see. Let me show you this. So let me share my screen now. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So at HCC, we have the healthcare management system bachelor's degree, and then we also have the artificial intelligence and robotic bachelor's degree. In order for you to have this pathway here, I'm doing split screen. It does require you to already have a degree. Well, you have to apply for the degree, but it does require you to have a prior degree in the allied health program. Okay, and let me show you what options they are. Admission criteria. It says you must have an associate of applied science in a healthcare medical field already. Since you said you have an AA, you would not be able to get into this program until you finish an associates of applied science in a medical or allied health program. Hope that makes sense. And then the other options that we have for the AI, artificial intelligence, you do have to have the 2-year degree completed in AI, which are these classes right here. The associate's degree the Associates of Applied Science, and AI, and it's going to be all these classes along with your core classes. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions or concerns? Well, thank you guys for your time. I do appreciate it. I hope we learned something, and that I did go by through pretty quickly. You know, I do apologize. It's a lot of information to absorb, but I am here. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've answered so many questions that any student can think of, and please don't be embarrassed to ask that question. But if y'all have no other questions, y'all have a good day.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.